Most of us aren't going to be staring down a furious grizzly anytime soon, but the Boy Scouts had it right. Always be prepared. And when it comes to bear country, picking the right firearm and ammunition isn't something you want to half-step. This is one of those topics that sparks more arguments than answers, but at the end of the day, your safety depends on smart planning and a gun that can stop a bear cold. So what should you carry? Let's run through some proven options that won't let you down. 4570 Government first, up the legendary 4570 Government. Originally introduced by the U.S. military way back in 1873, this round has stood the test of time as one of the hardest-hitting cartridges for big game. To this day, it's still a go-to for Alaskan guides and serious hunters. Pair it with a compact lever gun like the Marlin 1895 guide gun, and you've got a rifle that's maneuverable, fast to shoulder, and capable of shutting down a charging bear. Look at Buffalo Boar's 430 grain hardcast load. It leaves the muzzle at around 2,000 feet per second and delivers 3,600 foot-pounds of energy. That's no joke, that's bear-stopping power. 454 Casull. Now let's talk handguns, the 454 Casull. This round was co-developed back in the 1950s by Dick Casull and Jack Fulmer, and it was purpose-built for taking down dangerous game. Load up a 300 grain hardcast round, and you're pushing about 1,650 feet per second with over 1,800 foot-pounds of energy. That's a revolver round with rifle-like punch. Ruger chambers it in the Super Red Hawk and the Alaskan, both excellent wheel guns for backcountry carry. Recoil? Brutal. But you can always train with 45 Colt loads before stepping up to the full-power Casuls. 12-gauge slugs. For sheer stopping power at close range, nothing beats a pump-action 12-gauge with slugs. That's why bush pilots, rangers, and backcountry hunters still trust them. Affordable, effective, and simple. Shotguns like the Remington 870 and the Mossberg 500 are classics for a reason. Load them up with something like Brennicke's Black Magic Magnum, a 602 grain slug hitting at about 1,500 feet per second and delivering 3,000 foot-pounds. Or the Duplex Monolith 32, with a 495 grain solid slug still pushing over 2,000 foot-pounds. Either way, you've got enough stopping power to end the fight fast. 300 Hammer, Wilson Combat. Finally, let's hit a modern AR-15 option, the 300 Hammer by Wilson Combat. This cartridge was designed to wring the most out of the AR-15 platform, giving you performance that rivals the old 30-30 Winchester. The advantage? A lighter rifle, more rounds on board, and faster cycling for quick follow-up shots. Set it up with a reflex optic, and you've got a fast-handling, hard-hitting setup that's tailor-made for black bear encounters in heavy cover. 44 Remington Magnum. Let's start with the classic, the 44 Remington Magnum. First introduced in 1955 and made famous by the Dirty Harry movies, the 44 Mag is often called the absolute minimum for serious bear defense. But don't let the word minimum fool you. This cartridge packs plenty of punch. Take Buffalo Boar's 240 grain heavy load, about 1,550 feet per second, delivering around 1,600 foot-pounds of energy. That's double what a 10mm auto gives you, and about 4 times the power of a standard 9mm. Compact revolvers like the Smith & Wesson 629 with a 4-inch barrel make it practical to carry without giving up too much in firepower. For hikers and hunters who might have to stop something big in a hurry, the 44 Mag is still a go-to. 357 Magnum now. The 357 Magnum doesn't always get the credit it deserves in the bear defense conversation. Sure, the 44 steals the spotlight, but a hot-loaded 357 can still be surprisingly capable. A 180 grain hardcast from Buffalo Boar puts out about 780 foot-pounds of energy stronger than most 10mm loads. And here's the real appeal. You can find it in smaller framed revolvers that are easier to carry and handle, especially for shooters with smaller hands. Is it the ideal bear stopper? Number. But if you know your limits, practice, and load it right, the .357 Magnum can absolutely serve as a last line of defense. 6.5 Creedmoor. When people think bear guns, they don't usually think 6.5 Creedmoor, but don't count it out. This cartridge, known for long-range accuracy and big-game hunting, still brings serious energy to the table. A 140-grain bullet leaves the muzzle at about 2,800 feet per second, generating nearly 2,500 foot-pounds of energy. That's over 3 times the power of a .44 Magnum revolver. So, while it's not your classic bear defense setup, if you're carrying a bolt action in 6.5 Creedmoor and you can place your shots confidently, you've got more than enough to stop a threat. .375 Holland & Holland Magnum. Finally, let's talk about one of the all-time legends, the .375 H&H Magnum. This cartridge was originally built for Africa's toughest game, but it earned just as much respect in Alaska and Canada. Hunters and guides use it for everything from moose to full-grown coastal brown bears. A 270-grain bullet at about 2,700 feet per second delivers a crushing 4,300 foot-pounds of energy. That's power with authority. It's not a rifle you carry for fun, it's a rifle you carry when your life might depend on it. And Alaskan guides don't argue about it, they just trust it, because it works. .30-30 Winchester. Now here's one a lot of people don't expect to see on a bear defense list. The .30-30 Winchester, also known by its old nickname, the Dirty 30. This lever gun has been dropping game cleanly since 1895, and it hasn't slowed down one bit. See, the trick is modern ammo. Companies like Hornady have given this cartridge new life. Their lever evolution line with the Monoflex bullet pushes out around 2,465 feet per second. That impact energy comes in just shy of 2,000 foot-pounds. That's not small game territory, that's black bear, hog, and even bigger predators if you put the round where it needs to go. No, it doesn't have the blistering velocity of modern magnums. But let's be real, the .30-30 wasn't built on hype. It was built on reliability, quick cycling from a lever action, and a track record that spans over a century. For backcountry hunters who want a fast-handling rifle with proven results, the .30-30 Winchester still earns its spot in the lineup. So whether it's the classic .45-70, the hard-hitting .454 Castle, a 12-gauge slug gun, or a modern AR in .300 Hammer, there are plenty of proven options out there. The key is to pick the one that fits your needs, train with it, and know it inside and out before you head into bear country. Because when the chips are down, the only thing that matters is stopping the threat fast.